is Test 6, Section 8. So let's get going on this. All right, if 3 times the quantity n minus 4 equals 18, what is the value of n? This is a simple algebra problem. Let's get some ink here. All right, there it is. So just solve it algebraically. So you'd say 3n minus 12 equals 18. Add 12 to both sides, so you get 3n equals 30. And you get n equals 10. You can always substitute if you don't know how to do algebra. All right, for class ring, each senior can choose 4 types of stones and 3 types of metals. How many combinations? When you see one of these kind of problems in the first few problems, all you have to do is multiply the number of types of stones times the types of metals, and you're going to get a total of 12. So for each stone, you could pick 3 different types of metal. So each stone times 3 would be 4 times 3. All right, onward. All right, hold on a sec. Okay, which of the following is an expression for the statement above? So let's just take the statement above. I always call it, let's translate it into algebra. So the sum of 3a and the square root of b is equal to the square of the sum of a and b. So that's what the square of the sum looks like. So you just look for the one that looks like that, and that would be b. I just wrote it down because I think it's better to try writing it and then compare than to just look through and try to figure it out. But it's up to you. Okay, Carrie has a cordless telephone receiver that can operate within a range of 1,000 feet from the telephone's base. Carrie takes the receiver from the base and walks 80 feet due north. Okay, so let's put a spot where the receiver is. There's a receiver. Okay, and then she's going to, she's a range of 1,000 feet. So if we just drew a circle around here 1,000 feet, my circle's not going to be very good, but 1,000 feet circle, just pretend the radius is 1,000 feet. She walks 800 feet north. So she's going to walk up this way, north, and not quite to the end, and then she's going to walk east, and she stops at the maximum range. So she's going to stop at the circle because that would be the maximum range. The question is, which of the following directions can Carrie walk and still be within range of the receiver? Well, she can't walk north, we know that, because she would be outside of the range. So that one is out. Can she go south? Yes, she can go south. Can she go west? Yes, she could go back west. So these two are fine. This is number 4, so it's not going to be very difficult. Keep that in mind. So the answer is going to be 2 and 3. So it'll be E. All right, up. Another simple algebra problem, x over 4 equals 2x over a. I mean, what you can observe is if you took 2 times this and 2 times this, you would get the 2x and you would get 8. But let's just do it the other way. X over 4 equals 2x over a. Cross multiply, you get xa equals 8x. You're solving it for a, so divide both sides by x, and you get it equals 8. All right, geometry problem. So we have parallel lines. It says it's not drawn to scale, but it's not too bad. I guess that r doesn't look like 50. What is the value of s, t, and u? All right, so we know r is equal to 50, so let's just put that in. Or you can redraw this and make it according to scale, but it doesn't really matter that much. If we know r is 50, if they're parallel lines, then the corresponding angles are the same. So this is going to be 50 as well. And the vertical angles are going to be the same. So this is going to be 50. And then we know that t and u have to add up to 180 degrees because they lie in the same line. So this one would have to be 130. So all you have to do is add up s, t, and u. I guess that's one way to do it. And you're going to get 230. I guess the really fast way, which I should have thought of, is this would be 130 right here because these two are and this one down here lie in the same line, and corresponding angles would make this one 130. I guess that doesn't help that much. you still have to do this all the work. All right, so much for that. Let's go on to the next problem. Number 7. In the x-coordinate plane, the line L is perpendicular to the y-axis and passes through the point 5, -3. Which of the following is the equation of the line L? So let's just plot this point real quick. So we have 5, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -3. All right. You want to make line L perpendicular to the y-axis. So if it's going to be perpendicular to the y-axis, it's going to be this line right here. Whoops, and I missed going through it. All right. So it's going to be that line right there because it's perpendicular to the y-axis. It means it forms a right angle to it. It's going through y at -3, so the right answer is y equals -3, and that would be C. It's cutting through the y-axis at -3. All right, move on down. This is a simple substitution problem. They make it look complicated, but it's just totally simple substitution. So the daily profit P in dollars from producing and selling X units of a certain product is given by this function, where B is the constant. If 300 units were produced, P stands for the produced or the profit, and sold yesterday for a total of 1,300 units were produced. So this is our profit. Sorry about that, profit. 300 were produced, that's our units. The total profit is 1,900. So we're going to put our profit in where the P of X is. We've had these kind of problems before. 17 times 300 minus 10 times 300 plus B. So we're going to multiply all that out in your calculator. So you're going to get 1,900. I needed my calculator on this one. 5,100. Oops, 5,100. Minus 3,000. And here you see this negative sign. It has to distribute out to the B minus B. So we're going to add 2,100 onto, so you're going to get 1,900. I'm assuming you guys can take it from here. 2,100 minus B. We're going to subtract, and we're going to get B equals 200. Because we get equals negative B, and then we divide by negative. So B equals 200, not negative 200. If you're kind of confused about that, I did negative 200 equals negative B. I subtracted that from both sides, and then I divided it by -1. All right. Next one, the number that cannot result, this is such an SAT problem, the number that results when an integer is multiplied by itself cannot end with the following digits. Okay, if a number is multiplied by itself, it's going to be the perfect square. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2, 4. And we're just going to keep going up here with all of our perfect squares. So I'm just going to list them out. You don't have to list them out. You can hold them in your head if you want. 81, 100, 121, 169. All right, so let's look. Which number does not show up? We have the 1. We have the 4. We have the 5. Yes. 6. Yes. 8. No. So you really, as soon as you hit the 1, 4, 5, and 6, you didn't have to keep going into all these. So the answer is 8. All right, on, down, on. Okay. A bag contains only red marbles, blue marbles, and yellow marbles. The probability of randomly selecting a marble from this bag is 1 out of 4, and the probability of randomly selecting a blue marble is 1 out of 6. So the red marble, the probability is 1 out of 4. The blue marble is 1 out of 6, which could be the total number of marbles in the bag. These come up periodically. The denominators, you have to be able to find 4 and 6 have to go into the total amount of marbles. So you just go over and you look at the one, there's only one number that 4 and 6 both go into. 4 doesn't go in, 4 or 10 doesn't go into that. 4 doesn't go into this one. 6 doesn't go into this one. 4 doesn't go into this one. So when you're doing these probability ones, Just make sure that you find the common denominator, and that's usually the answer to those. All right, next page. Going pretty quickly through this one so far. When the sum of a list of prices is divided by the average of the prices, the result is K. What does K represent? Is it the sum of the prices, half the sum of the prices, the average of the prices, the number of prices, half the number of prices? So let's just pick some random prices. I'm going to just do $5. I'm going to do $5. I'm going to make them all the same. Now, to find the average, we would divide this by 3, but you know the average. What's the average of 5 plus 5 plus 5 divided by 3? It's going to be 5. So we're going to get, this is what they're asking for. The sum of the list of prices is divided by the average. So the list of prices would be 15. The average of all of those would be 3. Would be 5. And so when we divide that, we get 3. What does the 3 represent? It's the number of prices. It always works out that way. So if you take a list of numbers, divide it by the average, you get the number of prices. That one was I think that one could be challenging if you're trying to think of doing it without picking numbers. And I just pick, whenever they do average problems, I just pick the same number over and over. And then it's real easy to find the average because it's whatever the one number you picked is. All right. My page just totally disappeared there for a minute. Okay, the area of a square is 81, so we know that the sides are all going to be 9. And it tells you that each of the 4 triangles is 30. So if these are all 9, then what's left, if it's 30 for each one of these, the perimeter of each one is 30, so 30 minus 9 is 21. So let's keep reading the problem. What is the perimeter of the figure outlined by the solid line? Well, each one of these is going to be 21, and there's 4 of these. It was 30, took away 9, and so we're left with 21, so it's just going to be 21 times 4 is going to be 84, and that's the answer. Okay. The graph. Okay, these can be confusing. The graph of y equals g of x is shown above. If g of 2 equals k, which of the following could be the value of g of k? So what this is saying here, you have to kind of get this burned into your mind, is what is the height of the function when 2 is the x value? Okay, this is your x value. What is the height of the function? So you're trying to figure out what is the height. Oops. What is the height of the graph? Can't seem to get my e's today. When x equals 2. Because it would be g of x. This is always g of x equals something. So whatever number is in here is your x value. So you go to your graph, you go to the 2, that's your x value, and you look up and see what your y value is. And it's right here, it's 5. So that value right there is 5. That's k. So that equals k, so k equals 5. We'll just go this way. Now they're going to ask you, what could be the value of g of k? Well, so we're trying to find the height when x equals 5 this time. So we go over here to 5, and we go up and we look at the height, and it's going to be, looks like about 2.5. A little tricky, huh? So right here it is, right there. So it's going to be 2.5, so we circle 2.5. They give you answers that are really close to that. All right, hopefully you're getting a handle on how to do these function problems. They're actually really easy there at the end because the notation just confuses people. All right, this one's kind of weird. If x is between 0 and 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a number line here. I don't know if this is helpful or not. So x lives between 0 and positive 8. So let's just color that in. Close circle. And y is between -1 and 3. So these are the y values down here. What are which of the following gives you the possible sets of all values of x times y? So these are your x values up here. These are your y values. If you take, this is -1 times 0, you're going to get 0. If you take -1 times 8, you're going to get -8. So we're looking for the range the whole way down. That's the smallest number that we can get. When we multiply any of the x and y values together, that's the smallest value we can get. The negative number times the biggest number will give you the smallest number. And then we're going to put in here x, y multiplied together. And let's see if we can find the biggest number that we can get. Well, the biggest would be the biggest positive times the biggest positive, which would be 24. So it would be this one. If you multiply them together, you can see the other combinations won't work, like x times y equals 4. Well, that would just be if it were 2 and 2. That's not going to do anything. 24 and 0, that's very tempting because that's just multiplying the endpoints, but it doesn't give you the smallest number. So you want to multiply, try to find the smallest number and the biggest number. All right, we are on the last board. Feels like I missed some. We're going to seem so fast. Okay, now here's something. Please keep this in mind. In the figure above, what is the sum in terms of n of the degree measures of all 4 angles marked with arrows? Okay, not much information on that picture, so you're trying to figure it out. If you know one little trick, you can solve this problem, and you learned it in the geometry, and it's the exterior angle of a triangle equals the sum of the remote, I could have written this somewhere else, interior angles. So this n is an exterior angle. It's exterior. Remote means the one not close to it, not this one. That's not remote. I'm going to call my remote angles A and B, and I'm going to call these remote angles C and D. So the exterior angle, this is exterior to this triangle, and it's an exterior angle to this triangle. So we know that n is equal to A plus B. Just write this down somewhere in a formula page or something. The exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the remote interior angles. We also know that n is equal to C plus D, the two other ones. Now they want to know the measure of the 4 angles. So if we add these all together, on this side we're going to get 2n is equal to A plus B plus C plus D. So 2n is the answer. That's a little tricky. Yeah, there's probably other ways to do it, but I can't think of it right now. All right, last problem. After the first term, each term in a sequence is 3 greater than 1/3 of the preceding term. If t is the first term, what is the ratio of the second term to the first term? Okay, let's just do it algebraically real quick. So that's our first term, and the second term is 1/3 the first term plus 3. First term, second term. Now they want to know what is the ratio of the second term to the first term. Easiest way to do this is to multiply top and bottom by 3 and get rid of your fraction. So we're going to get t plus 9 over 3t, and that's that one right there. If you don't want to do algebra, pick 2 numbers. Okay, I let t equal 9 for my first number, just because it's divisible by 3. And then the second term would be 9 times 1/3 plus 3, so it would equal 6. They want to know the ratio of the second term to the first term is going to be 2/3. So I'm just going and you put t in, our t is 9, and if you do it in the first one, you get 18 divided by 3 is 6, not 2/3. You just work your way down until you get to D, and if you put 9 in for T, you would say 9 plus 3 over 18, and you would get 12 over 18, which is equal to 2/3 is what we got. All right, hopefully that was helpful. I feel like I go really fast on these sometimes, but I hope it teaches you a few things anyway. All right, so that's it for this section.